Hi guys, so this video I'm going to talk about a topic that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. It's just that I've never had the chance to really formulate my ideas in a very coherent way. So I think right now I finally have got it together. I got it this morning actually. So hopefully you enjoy this. This video is going to be talking about how to survive a traumatic breakup. Now, I had a very traumatic breakup years ago, and it was probably one of the lowest points of my life because I didn't know where to go, who to turn to, and some of my friends were leaving me, and I had a lot of issues with a lot of people that in my life, and my family was situation was kind of pretty bad too. So it was probably the worst timing to have a breakup of that magnitude for me. So I just want to talk about things that I use to cope with it and survive it because it's a lot better on the other side, but just going through it is probably hard. But I think that having resources and tools really do help to deal with it a lot better than just not having anything. So we're gonna go through these. The first one is assess the damage. This is a tough one. Actually, a lot of these are tough because these require a lot of self reflection and self reflection, really diving deep into how you feel. So assessing the damage is essentially you figuring out how bad do you really feel. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad does this breakup feel to you right now? And it could change over time. Like a lot of these tips a lot of things I'm gonna be covering aren't in sequential order. It's like that's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 step process. A lot of these things will probably happen out of sync. They'll just happen whenever, and they may happen later on. It's just you never know. So these are just things I want to say. But yeah, assessing the damage is important because you need to figure out how bad do you really feel, and that's always hard to do because sometimes we numb ourselves to pain because we don't want to feel it and we don't know how bad we feel, and it takes time to really assess the damage that was made to you as far as how you feel about the situation, especially if it's a traumatic experience for you. Like it could be like if your boyfriend cheated on you or whatnot, or some type of betrayal of trust or something like that. Like that's pretty hard to deal with for some people. Now some people could just go brush stuff off a lot easier and it doesn't really affect them as much. But if you're one of the type of people who are affected easily by stuff and you don't know how bad you feel, you just walk around and not knowing that you're really it's like getting hit by a truck and you're like, oh, I can walk it, I'm fine. And you're really on the inside, it's like a lot of internal damage and internal bleeding and stuff. And you don't know because you never really got checked out. So you need to assess how badly do you feel about this breakup because that will definitely help you figure out your next course of action and what to do and whatnot. So the next one I'm gonna say is let's see, um, find support and resources. That's another tough one because you can always find people who are willing to listen to you and be able to empathize with you and really give you sound advice and really support you and whatnot. I remember in my breakup, I didn't have a lot of support in the beginning. I started getting support from people later on, but in the very beginning, it was I got a lot of pushback from people telling me, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You were together alone. Mind you, we were together for 2.5 years and we were living together for 2 of those years. But whatever, it's not a big deal. People are like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Whatever, just brush it off. Go on to the next. I heard people telling me how I was overreacting for a while, and it just made me feel even worse. So you definitely need to find a good support system and resources to deal with the breakup because if you don't, you end up being around people who just make you feel worse about yourself and worse about your situation. And the support can be and resources can be just about anything. It could be just finding a group of friends you can talk to about it, or it can be actually going to seek a therapist if you just decide that the damage that you've assessed has been pretty severe, and you know that the only person that can be able to help you is a trained professional. Then at that point, yeah, you might want to see a therapist. But you might just have a friend who's really just good at listening and being empathetic to your situation, which is good too, and being able to allow you to spill your guts and be really vulnerable too. Because I think that when you need support, you definitely need to feel like you're in a safe environment and don't feel like you're being judged. I mean, oftentimes we don't want to be in a situation where we feel like we're not being supported and feeling like we're being judged the whole time. So if you're around a lot of people who are gonna judge you and gonna give you really bad feedback about your breakup and just dismiss your feelings, then you don't want to be around them. You need somebody you can be completely 100% transparent and vulnerable with. So at that point, you get to get all of whatever you're feeling out into the open, and not feel bad about it. And yeah, that's probably really important. And yeah, I definitely stress, if you know this breakup has been traumatic in a point where you know that just talking to your friends is enough, I strongly recommend seeking therapy if you definitely know you can. If you can't, then there are definitely resources to help deal with this a lot better, because if you're having like mental trauma from a breakup, you definitely need to see someone. Like, that's important. Let's see what's next on my list. Understanding your triggers. This is another one that kind of popped up to me later in the whole like process of healing. You really don't know what your triggers are until they happen sometimes. So understanding what those mean and what those come from is really important. I know for me, one of my triggers from my ex when we broke up was the apartment we lived in, because the apartment we had lived there for like 2 years. So like every little thing in that apartment would remind me of him, and it would just like trigger me to have like these really bad depressive episodes. So I was like, yeah, I can't be in here anymore. So I eventually moved like a year later out of that apartment, because that apartment was just like making me feel worse about myself. And I remember actually moving and how much better I felt after I moved. So changing your environment could just be one of those ways to like understand your triggers, wherever you are, and just understanding that it's okay to be triggered. It's okay to have like these episodes where you get flashbacks, so you feel hurt out of nowhere, because it could happen. You can listen to a song that reminds you of that person, and you're gonna start feeling like complete shit. So don't feel bad about any of that. Like, it's completely normal. It's fine. It will happen, and you can definitely survive any of it. Let's see. Allow yourself to feel. This is one that is tough when you're used to being a strong person and you're not used to allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Allowing yourself to feel means feel anything. Like, if you're angry about the breakup, feel angry. If you feel sad about the breakup, feel sad and cry. If you feel nothing at all, then just feel nothing at that point. Just allow your emotions to actually like transpire. Allow them to fully be realized and not be like stifled or numbed up by like doing crazy stuff like self medicating and stuff like that, because that's not going to help at all. Let's see. Be honest and gentle with yourself. Being honest is definitely being more logical about the situation, how it transpired, and your role you played in it. Because unfortunately, when you break up with somebody, it's not just 100% one person's fault. It's usually both on both ends. But you have to be honest with yourself to know what role you played in it. But be gentle enough to know that you tried your best, because that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of times, I didn't even know, for me personally, when I situations occur and me and a person like part ways, I usually like blame myself, and it's not the best way. Oh, I was so stupid. I was so dumb. Why didn't I see the signs like that? Don't even do that. Like, you made the best decision you possibly could for the situation you were in, the time frame, with the information that you had. So don't beat yourself up. Be gentle with yourself. Know that you tried your best, and yeah. The last part is do the work. So doing the work means actually doing all the stuff that I had just mentioned, and just trying to be better off afterwards. Like, really just unpacking what happened. Because you know what you don't want to do is, you don't want to take what you've experienced in a previous relationship and apply it to relationships you have in the future. Like, you don't want to take that baggage from your previous relationship and apply it to everywhere you go, and just carry it with you on your back, and just go in a relationship. Oh, here's my baggage. And it's a whole bunch of stuff that you haven't like dealt with and unpacked. So doing the work will allow you to fully deal with what happened and be able to unpack it, and not bring that same trauma to your relationship you go to next. And you'll be better off, because you don't want the person that you're trying to be in a relationship with next to have to deal with the problems and stuff from the previous guy that you've had a breakup with. Like, that's not the other person's like fault, and they shouldn't be held accountable for somebody else's mistakes. So yeah, that's my tips on surviving a traumatic breakup. This might not be for everybody. This might be just for people who are like, I don't know, just people who don't know how to like cope with a breakup. Some people are gonna be like, oh, I don't need all that. I can just whatever, on to the next. But there are people. If your breakup is really traumatic and you know it feels like excruciating, then you definitely should try to do some of these things. They'll definitely help you in the long run. Hopefully, I hope this video helped people, because I didn't really have a lot of help. I didn't have a lot of resources when I broke up with my ex, and it was tough. It took me a good 4 years to really get over it. So I'm in a better place now, but definitely needed some guidance and stuff like that. So hopefully this video helps you if you're going to break up or divorce. So I know like there are levels to this, and people who are divorcing or in longer term relationships than like 2 years, like I was, like I know it's even harder to do a lot of these things, and it takes longer to get over it. So yeah, but hopefully this helps you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Please like, share this video, and yeah, thanks for watching.